All right, Derek, I'm here, but I'm about to go jump out of an airplane in a helicopter, from an airplane to a helicopter, skiing down with my GoPro because we are going viral today.
Oh my gosh. Well, there it is in a nutshell. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. There's your takeaway.
That's what we're doing. We are focusing. We've got to go viral, right? I keep seeing like, you've got to go viral. Everybody else is going viral, Derek. And if there's one thing I learned as a kid, my parents taught me, if everybody else is doing it, you should do it too.
Well, there is so much pressure for us on social media to perform against metrics like virility, right? Like that is kind of baked in to how these platforms are working. They're attempting to keep us there. And they're also, by design, structured in a way whereby we sort of lose track of our own goals in terms of utilizing these platforms as tools. And so, really, what we are talking about today is sort of removing that unrealistic aspirational goal of consistently creating viral posts by just kind of peeling this back a little bit and taking a look at some of the ways in which this is often misleading for advisors. There's no denying that there is a tremendous sense of validation and affirmation when you see a post start to take off. And you can speak to this, Katie, because this happened to you recently.
Yep.
Maybe we can spend a minute or two talking about your experience and how that great sense of accomplishment that comes with, oh my gosh, I have 600,000 unique impressions on a post. How that sense of excitement and enthusiasm quickly becomes tempered by the fact that what were the outcomes for you?
The outcomes were nothing. Nothing at
Yeah.
all. It was so fascinating, Derek. I've been talking about this for ages because, right, working with financial advisors with video, I talk to them like, what are your goals? What do you want to accomplish? Right. Thinking the answer should be, I want to make sure I attract more of my ideal clients. I want to grow my business. I want to
Mhm.
create a successful, thriving, long term business. And I hear time and again, I want 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. I want to get 10,000 views on every video. And I've always said, but why? That
Mhm.
doesn't pay the bills. And so I finally did it and I wasn't trying to. LinkedIn, I think a lot of people are seeing LinkedIn is really, really pushing video content. And so I was doing kind of a video post a day in the first half of September. And, they were not getting that many impressions, but I was getting good engagement. And then all of a sudden, I had a post that got like 127,000 views. And then the next day, it was like 168,000 views. And then the next day, it was like 280,000 views. And I was like, this is fascinating. And the most fascinating thing is I kept watching it. Like I was actually checking it every hour. And I was checking it from a very analytical standpoint. And I was like, I don't know what's going on here. And two things grabbed my attention. One, the actual engagement was much lower than posts with a tiny, tiny fraction of the impressions. And second, I genuinely think 90 plus percent of the new connection requests I got were not at all my target audience, geographically, age wise, profession. Not a single thing matched my target audience.
And so ultimately, what would result there is on top of that burst of energy you receive from suddenly seeing a post take off like that, a feed going forward that is littered with content from people outside of your prospect pool, people who are outside of financial services, people who don't align with your ideal client profile.
If
And
if I would have accepted those connection
yeah,
requests, which I didn't,
yeah,
I probably like you, Derek, I say no to honestly 70 to 80% of connection requests that
yeah.
I get, I ignore. And I think that's another really big takeaway for people to realize is to your point, right? There we have this whole like more, 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 more. And the platforms are designed to you should have more. And we hear, oh, this financial advisor has, 10,000 followers. This one has 30,000 followers. And you look and you see their engagement, and you're like, yes, but they're not actually engaging with their target audience. And so more is not equal to better.
Well, and you've also said something that's very important. And I do want to encourage people who are joining us live, please feel free to join us in the chat. We would absolutely love to hear your experience. We'd absolutely love to hear the ways in which you're using LinkedIn in terms of inbound marketing. So, by all means, let us know how we can continue to direct this conversation so that we can be of help. You have said something several times, and it is the magic word when it comes to social media, and that is engagement. That is the metric you want to be looking at, not how many people watched the video, how many comments you got, how many people then reposted, how many people are tagging you in their content, beginning to identify you as a thought leader within the industry. Those are the things that you want to be paying attention to. And don't ever hesitate to follow up with people who are commenting on your posts. Not only does that create goodwill, you never know the conversations and the opportunities that that's going to spark. And those are the people who you want to be more inclined to invite into your network. So engagement is key. Even if you post something and it gets 500, 600, 1,000 unique impressions, if you're getting 15, 20, 35 comments, you're doing something incredibly well. And I think
Yeah.
that you're going to find that the people who are commenting, not simply using AI platforms to do it for them, but who are genuinely responding to the content that you're creating, those are the people that you want to be in touch with. Those are the people who are going to provide you with those business opportunities that you're really using social media to accomplish.
Yeah. And as long as they are your ideal clients, right? And
Yeah.
I mean, yes, engage, you should always respond to comments, but if I am only attracting farmers in Iceland, right? Then maybe my content isn't working. And so that really gets to when advisors thinking, what should I be doing? How else can I measure the success? Is is the people that are engaging with your content aligned with who your target audience is? And in order to know that, you have to know who your target audience is. You have to have a target audience.
Well, and what a niche. Farmers in Iceland,
I don't know where
right?
that came from.
I absolutely love it. But again, it's a wonderful off the cuff example of the type of work that you want to be doing, again, to be able to identify the people that you want to be reaching to and also how to show up for them. That's one of the other things. And we also had an episode earlier with some content from Brian Hune, who also experienced this phenomena of a viral post. It also for him led to no new business
Yeah.
within his ideal client profile. And so I think it's very, very important for everyone to remember, even if you wind up creating a template, and I don't mean something that resembles a Mad Lib where only a couple of words are changed, but a framework that you're using to create captions for social media that's effective. Remember, you're always looking to engage with your audience of one. And the clearer you are about who that one person is that you can best serve in that moment, the greater your engagement is going to be. And again, the greater impact you're going to have on social media. I also just quickly want to say this uh, for those of you who are aspiring to become social media influencers within financial services, just note if that is what you are aiming to do, and Katie, you had said something very, very helpful prior to recording. If that's what you're aiming to do, I just want to be clear that's your full time job from this point forward. So your advisory goes out the window. You need to hire a team who's working with you minute by minute to create this content, monitor it, engage with it so that that is what you're doing. If that's your goal, though, Katie, what's the question?
What's the end goal?
Yeah.
How do you measure success with that? Because you're not paying the bills with likes and impressions unless, right, you're on YouTube and you're trying to make all of your money off of YouTube ad revenue, which takes a long, long time. And it's again, we get sucked into this like social, you have to have more, you have to do more. And that doesn't lead to happiness. That doesn't lead to success. That doesn't pay the mortgage. That doesn't build a successful business. It's a detractor. It's another shiny object. And Jackie just commented here,
Yeah.
right? A lot of people reading my post, but not yet interacting. They tell me about it. Absolutely. So I've been at a couple conferences. I was at a conference last week. I was at a conference yesterday, Jackie, to that point, but that is still
Yeah.
a measure of success. Right. And so this is where, and I love that, Jackie, that gets into, we're over 10 minutes with the last thing we're going to touch on. And I think we're going to bring this up again next week. So, Jackie, this is the
Yes.
perfect segue to next week's episode is how do you kind of move them through that funnel? How do you get them to engage? How do you get them to book calls? But this is a measure of success. And so at these conferences, I have had so many people come up to me. It's been hilarious. One person even tapped me on the shoulder last night at a conference and said, "Hey, you don't know me, but I've seen your content on LinkedIn, like really appreciate what you're doing." They have never engaged with my posts before. But because
Mm.
you hear that, I hear that, Jackie, you hear that. It's saying that your content is working, right? And
Yeah.
so that's it was Jackie Wilkie, right, that commented, Derek, on this episode and was talking about,
Yeah.
your shadow followers. There are
Yeah.
so many people. The majority, right? The vast majority of people never engage on social media. But I can tell you 98% of advisors that I work with have found me through
Mm.
LinkedIn. Actually, I will give credit to LinkedIn being the platform and have never engaged with any of my content. Or they found me from
Yeah.
somebody that follows me on LinkedIn that have told them.
Well, and that's where that yet becomes so pivotal in that comment, Jacqueline. Thank you so much for that. That yet is pivotal because it opens a door. Your
Yep.
content is opening doors to conversation, and what a wonderful experience to have somebody come up and say, "Hey, you don't know me, but I really appreciate what you're doing on social." So again, you're having an effect, even if the engagement isn't there. And what a wonderful opportunity to prompt people to weigh in.
Yeah.
So, we are going to continue this conversation next week. We're going to take a look at some very specific examples from an advisor who's reached out to us. Can't thank all of you enough for continuing to join us and providing us with the topics that allow us to address some of the most pressing marketing issues that you're facing. So, thank you.
Yeah. And I think, Derek, just to summarize the question for this episode, does going viral equal new clients? I think we're going to say, did you ever watch Mythbusters? I
Oh,
feel like we're
yes.
like,
Yeah.
myth debunked.
I love it. Can't wait to pick this topic up again next week.